Welcome back. I'm going to preface this with I just recorded all of this and didn't follow one bit of my own advice that I tell everybody else to do and test which microphone the system was using. And it was using my headset microphone, which clearly I'm not wearing right now. So this is take 2. But I just wanted to let you know that because even though I can dole out all of the advice out there and I know it, a lot of the reason I know a lot of these things is because I've made the mistakes before. So you're learning from somebody who has done it even today and somebody who you can learn from their mistakes rather than making them yourself. Hopefully you listen to me more than I listen to me. Anyway, now that that's over and done with, welcome back. Today, I'd like to talk to you about you. Putting it very simply, this section is all about defining your video style or starting to define your video style, especially if you're just starting out in this space. And what we want is to try and start to build a style that reflects your brand, your personality in there, connects with your audience, the ones you actually like, and feels natural so that you're not masking the whole time you're on video. So we're going to start with a little bit about you and your brand. Now, I keep saying you and your brand because what I want here is for you to, I know a lot of the time we separate ourselves from our business, but I want you to think of this as your business, not just business name. I want you to keep in this referring to it as your business. I want you to own it. It is your business. You do own it. So I want you to really own that here so that we can let a little bit of your personality, your values through in these videos. Because the goal of all of this, as we've spoken about before, is that people buy from people. So your goal of putting videos out there is to nurture and build an audience that in turn will buy from you. And because people buy from people, unless you're a massive corporate, you've got to show just a little bit of personality. Doesn't mean come in all guns blazing, completely casual, unless that is, something that you do want to come across in your brand as well. But it means blending the two together. So it means having a think about what your business values are, what your business's unique selling point is, and then thinking about your uniqueness and what you bring to the business from a personal level as well, or a personality level there too. So let's start with thinking about your brand's vibe. I want you to ask yourself, what makes my business different? So again, referring to it as my business, not what makes No Grey Suits different. It's what makes my business different. What makes your business different? Then I want you to think, how do I want my audience, my people, to feel when they see my videos? Now, you could have a few things here because each video is going to cover a different part of your strategy. So it could be that you want them to feel entertained, your top of funnel stuff. It could be that you want them to feel educated and like they're getting value from you consistently, which can build some trust there. You can become their trusted advisor in XYZ, which can build to them actually paying for your stuff. You might want them to feel relaxed, that you've got it all under control, that you're just going to take their problems and make them go away. So have a think about that, but then think from an overarching level as well, how to think about your brand. If it's playful and fun like mine is, like No Grey Suits is, and like I can be, your videos might be lighthearted, have a little bit of humor injected in there, full of personality, color, something entertaining. If your brand and you are more polished, professional, not saying that fun's not, but you know what I'm saying. If that is how your brand and how you want to be perceived, then, your videos might focus on clean visuals, clear messaging, less chatter, less fluff, more to the point. There's no right or wrong here because it comes down to your brand, your personality, and what you want to convey to your audience and who you want to attract. Next, finding your comfort zone on camera and knowing where to start. Some of you might feel great showing up on camera, like I do, and that is awesome. Makes our lives a lot easier, and I know that. Some of you might not find it that easy. There are alternatives to jumping straight in feet first. Or is it head first? Anyway, but we'll start with if you are comfortable doing this part and talking on camera and you're here to learn a lot of the other bits and pieces, but you can sit down and actually have a chat to a camera like I am now. Awesome. Start there. You're already in your comfort zone. Start there. If this isn't natural for you, if this isn't your comfort zone, start with voiceovers. Put voiceovers over B-roll. So that way you're training yourself to still talk to camera, and I still want you to film yourself while you're doing it. It's just that nobody's ever going to see the visual part of it. They're only going to hear your voice. So you're starting from a spot that might be slightly outside of your comfort zone, but it's certainly not jumping on and doing this or jumping on live. Start with voiceovers if you're not comfortable starting with visual as well. But record the visual as well so that you can go back and look over it, if anything, just to check. What's around me? Was I sitting nicely? Do I need to drop my, chin so that I don't get so much reflection in my glasses? Do I need to push it up so that I don't have a double chin? You can use that footage as data, research on how you want to show up on camera and start to learn how you look and how you feel on camera. And once you see yourself on camera a million times, you actually do start to get used to it. So it's building that resilience to it as well. You can, everybody is starting in their comfort zone, but you will always keep in mind, you will always want to push outside that comfort zone. I'm sounding a bit more like a mindset coach than a video coach here, but anyway, you're going to want to push outside that comfort zone. So for those of you that just want to do the voiceovers, eventually you might want to do, little tiny educational reels where you have scripted something because you're not ready to ad-lib it yet. Or for those of us that are confident on camera, I'll let you know one of my next things is getting back in front of a live audience, an in-person audience rather than a virtual audience. I haven't done that in a while since pre-COVID because we know that mucked everything up. And I'm actually wanting to push myself out of what has become my comfort zone now, which is this. I'm pushing myself to the next level of wanting to get back into face-to-face, and then there'll be levels after that and after that. So all of us have a comfort zone that we're starting with now, and we all want to take a next step. So it's not natural for us to take the next step without pushing ourselves. So just remember, you do have to push yourself eventually to get to where you want to be. If you're happy doing voiceovers forever and it works for you and your brand, go for it. It's not what we're necessarily here to learn, but it's a great starting point. Really good starting point. The key is to start where you're comfortable. Grow from there. Next, we have to start thinking about our audience. What type of content do they already engage with? Now, I'm hoping that everybody here has done some kind of customer avatar activity where, you've done the deep dive into who they are. Now, I hadn't done one in a little while and I knew mine had changed, so I stopped referring to it. I recently did one. I gave her a name. I know everything about her down to the brand of shoes she wears, what clothes she wears, what she listens to, what she watches on TV, who her kids are, how old they are. I know everything about her. Doesn't mean I'm limiting myself to that customer, but it means that I know who I'm talking to when I am sending messages out into the world. And it actually just makes it a lot easier on your own brain to think that you're just talking to that one person. But not only that, when you do your customer avatar exercise, then If you need to create a separate profile on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever it might be, go for it and do it and pretend that you are her or him. Them. Pretend that you are them. Follow the pages. Interact with the types of content that they would enjoy. Watch for other people that are engaging with that same contact. Stalk them and find out where else they engage. So try and find people with similarities to your avatar, your customer avatar, your ideal client, whatever you want to call it, and stalk them, find out what they follow, what they like, what they're actually engaging with, what types of comment are striking a chord, types of content are striking a chord with them. Follow it. Start to absorb it. Take screenshots. I very rarely look back at my screenshots, but I do have, I do have files that I save of that's actually a really good idea. I can somehow repurpose that in my own content. We've gotten slightly off track there, but there's a few really good ideas in there to start to really get to know your audience more than just listing name, age, suburb they live in, do they have pets, what do they do for work. But it's more about really getting to know them and what types of content they consume and engage with. So, they might be scrolling TikTok for, those fun videos or recipe videos. There's a lot of those on TikTok now. They might be on Instagram looking for tips and tricks and informative, bits of helpful information. Or maybe they're on LinkedIn and actually looking for something with a bit more meat, something that is a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say intellectual. I want to say a little bit more deep. So what we tend to find with LinkedIn is just don't become one of the people that just drops into people's DMs and sells. That's awful. But what we find if people are spending a lot of time on LinkedIn, and if that's where your customers are, they're looking for something that's a little bit more fleshed out than a 30-second video, which is what they might go to TikTok or Instagram for. So have a think about where your audience is, what content they're following, what they like. Start to really get to know that. Follow what they would follow. Then start bringing it in together, and that'll be what we go through in a second, and blending your brand's personality and the bits about your brand that you love with what your customer loves. And then you've got a sweet spot where magic happens. Now, how to start to do that? Let's get practical. And I'm going to give you some time after I read through this to actually do this right now. Because I think it is important to get this down on paper. I'm going to give you a worksheet for it as well. I want you to write down 3 words that describe your brand. Now, don't just go for the obvious ones of, might be B2B, might be professional. They might be it, but I want you to actually really think deep here about not just your brand, but about how you represent your brand. You are the ambassador for your brand. So I want you to start really thinking about how you would describe your brand, not just how everybody else describes it, but how you want to describe your brand. For me, for No Grey Suits, even though it seems to be a very basic sort of word, one word that I really like is helpful. I want my business to be helpful. No Grey Suits is helpful. It is a bit of fun. I want to make people smile, so there's a bit of fun in there. So I throw some humor in every now and then. Some people might not always get my humor, but I try. And I want my business to feel approachable. Therefore, I don't use a lot of jargon. I talk to people like they're real people. I show up in such a way that, if I walked up to you in a meeting, you wouldn't feel intimidated. You wouldn't feel like you don't belong. I want you to feel like you belong if you are my people. And by that, I mean, if you walk in to a meeting with me and you're posturing and, you are the corporate in the grey suit and you really do believe that you're a step above because you are the corporate in the grey suit, You're not my people. You're not who I'm selling to. You're not my audience. Hence, no grey suits. Nothing against those people. They're just not my audience. So think about how you want to show up for your audience and how you would describe your brand in that way, not just what you do. This isn't a list of features and benefits. Then think about how comfortable you are, and I want you to write it down on camera and actually choose a starting point. Are you choosing to start with voiceovers? Are you choosing to start with scripted value or educational reels? Are you choosing to start with going live? Just to jump in and get over any fears that you might have. Wherever you're starting, wherever you want to choose, this is day one of this part. Choose your starting point. Where are you going to start? Make it an intention. Write it down. Once you write it down, it becomes real, yeah? Then I want you to think about your audience again and actually list down a couple of ways your audience consumes and engages with content. Are they LinkedIn? Reading articles, long form stuff? Are they on YouTube watching replays of webinars? Are they on YouTube but only watching shorts? Are they on TikTok looking for that quick dopamine hit of, entertaining or educational information? Whatever they're looking for, whatever they're engaging with, wherever they are, I want you to actually write it down. So now you've got written down who your business is, 3 words that describe your brand personality. You've got your starting point of where you want to start creating video. And then you've got where your audience is and what kind of content they're consuming. This forms a base, a really, really nice place to start. So for me, it might be that, my brand is bold, approachable, and helpful. I'll start with face-to-face and focus on short, engaging tips for Instagram Reels because that's where my audience might be. That's what I want you to write down. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do that because I really do want you to do it right now, not take it as homework and do it later. Should only take a few minutes because we've already been thinking about it for 17 minutes now? Welcome back. Your unique video style that we've started to build is your secret sauce. It's what will make your content stand out, feel relatable, feel authentic, and be recognizable. It's what's going to build trust, and it's what is going to attract the right people, not the wrong people, to your brand. In the next module, we're going to be taking what we've done here and we're going to start to come up with your first video idea. Be a lot of fun. I might do that one live. Might pre-record some of it, but I think it'd be a fun one to do live. We'll see how we go. But I think we can come up with a lot of really good stuff. And I think that is where the fun is going to be as well. Anyway, see you soon. Take care.